Just to set the example. We killed 15 Spaniards, we're going to kill 150 a year, or whatever the number is. And then Columbus orders his community built. And the Spaniards began building a European-style settlement on the island. Once the settlement is well enough established, it's not finished, but well enough established that it can act as a fort, he then goes and tells the Taino with this translator, the guy who learned Spanish, he tells them, look, from now on, every day I want all of you to go to the beach. And there you're going to pick up silver nuggets. And you're all responsible for bringing back a certain amount every day. And he orders the Taino to start bringing in silver. The Taino never had this type of state authority. The Taino were organized this way. They had chiefs, but many chiefs, not just one chief. And each chief was in charge of one thing. So, for example, there would be a chief in charge of jewelry making, the chief in charge of fishing, the chief in charge of hut making. And the person who was the chief was democratically elected. The people would get together and decide who the best hut maker was, and that would become the chief of the hut making. And that person would make all the decisions about what was going to be done with their village in terms of huts, or what kind of jewelry was going to be made would be made by the jewelry chief. Those decisions were deferred to these different people. They didn't have the kind of structure where the jewelry maker could go, no more silver jewelry from now on, we're only going to make seashell jewelry, and you're going to do it this way. That wasn't what that person's purpose was. They weren't the dictator of jewelry making. They were just supposed to be sort of a guide. Here's this guy coming and telling them, you must do this from now on. They don't comprehend, and they don't start doing it. And so Columbus decides he has to set an example. He rounds up a group of Taino, and he explains to them that because they're not picking up the silver, he's going to punish a group of Taino so that the other Taino will start picking up the silver. And he has their hands severed, and he slits their noses. I don't know why.
So they can smell better.
Maybe. And then he sets them free so that they can slowly bleed out. Most of the time, flee. There's mountains here. And they take off into the mountains. And that's how Columbus establishes the first European colony in the Americas. Slavery and murder, right on. Turns out that there's the reason there's silver on the beaches is there was silver eroding out of the mountains, which means the mountains are filled with silver. So eventually they will start to build silver mines into the mountains. They will enslave the remaining Taino populations that they can capture and make them work in the silver mines and draw the silver. The Taino are exterminated. I don't think there's anybody alive today who's a Taino. Columbus is going to do a third voyage. And the third voyage isn't really important to us, another other reason, just so that I can complete the story of the third and fourth voyages, just so that we don't leave them incomplete. Here's what he does.
This one is funded by Portugal.
I don't think any of his voyages were funded by Portugal.
Is that who he went to first?
He went to Portugal first, and they never funded any of his voyages. Isabella did. Well, she did him and funded his voyages. When the euphemism that you learned in school was they would play chess together, I think they left the T off chess. Because I don't know that they were playing much chess. Because, anyway, so. Isabella was so powerful. Right, I think I made it clear that you should say Isabella and Ferdinand. Isabella was so powerful, she would just turn to Ferdinand and go, I'm going to go have sex with Columbus. And she would just leave and go have sex with Columbus. And there was nothing Ferdinand could do to stop this. It probably drove him berserk. Damn it! Come on, queen! Yeah, so, here's what Columbus does. On his third voyage, he sets off from Sevilla, and he heads right to South America. He skirts the coast of what is now Guyana, and he doesn't let his men off the ship, or the ships. The reason is this. In his journal entries from the third voyage, he says, and then we saw the ocean curve up. Which means that once they peeked over the top of that curve, there was going to be Eden in front of them. And when they peeked up over the top of the curve, I'm not sure how he saw the ocean curve upwards, but he did. And they saw South America. And he decided that was Eden. So there was no way he could let his men off because it's forbidden to go back. And he was worried that something terrible would happen to them or himself if he let them off. He then starts heading back towards Haiti, and on the way, just off the coast of Jamaica, he gets caught in a hurricane, and it sinks his little flotilla, and he's shipwrecked on Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets stuck on Jamaica for over a year. His brother had been the governor of Haiti in his absence. His governor finally starts sending out ships to look for Columbus because he's been gone for so long. And after over a year, he finds him on Jamaica with his crew, the name of his crew. The reason that's important is this. So Columbus's third voyage set out in, I think it was 1498 or 1498. I think it was 1498. I want to say 1498. 1499, I think, then, is a Portuguese expedition. It's led by a guy by the name of Cabral. Cabral is going to India the right way, the hard way, which is to go like this. All right? Because you can't really go to India this way. It doesn't work. You could go if you went like this, but they don't know that, and man, that's a long trip. This is a much better trip. So that's what Cabral was doing. The Portuguese have decided that the Spaniards are ridiculous for going west. When he leaves Portugal, he comes off of Cape Verde and goes too far west. He's not following the African coast, and he pulls up right along the very tip of Brazil. On board one of his ships is a man by the name of Vespucci. Vespucci is an Italian.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, that's big, yeah.
Oh, that's why your last name is Vespucci. Yeah. Vespucci is on board the ship because he's a cartographer, he's a map maker. The Portuguese and the Spaniards are using the Italians, but they've been doing Navy for much longer than they have. So even though the Spanish have better ships than the Italians do, the Italians have better sailors and better navigators and better map makers. All the captains practically are Italian, even though the ships are Spanish built, and the crews are generally Spanish, and they have some Italian on board. Vespucci goes to Cabral when they pull up off the coast of Brazil, and he's like, wait a minute. I know for a fact that we've never been here. We don't know what this is. Cabral's like, what do you mean? And Vespucci says, well, look, first of all, we know the size of the earth, and for this to be India is impossible, because if we went this way to get to India, we would have to go that distance, or we only went that distance. So there's no way that's India. The other thing is, we're south of the equator. India is not south of the equator. India is north of the equator. There's nothing